As we enter the 2024 to 2025 NBA season, discussions around league parity are louder than ever. The NBA has seen a distinct shift in competitiveness in recent years, and many are wondering, is this new era of parity here to stay? In part 2 of a 5-part series, we explore the nuances of NBA parity, how it came about, and whether it's likely to continue. Parity, in its simplest terms, refers to competitive balance, where no one or two teams dominate the league, but instead, a variety of franchises can contend for championships. Historically, the NBA has seen dominant teams rule for extended periods. Just think back to the 2010s, when the Golden State Warriors and Cleveland Cavaliers squared off in 4 consecutive finals. But in the last 5 years, we've witnessed a notable shift. Since 2019, the NBA has crowned 6 different champions: the Toronto Raptors in 2019, Los Angeles Lakers in 2020, Milwaukee Bucks in 2021, Golden State Warriors in 2022, Denver Nuggets in 2023, and Boston Celtics in 2024. In addition, 9 different teams have reached the finals, further spreading the wealth. This spread has made the NBA more unpredictable than ever before, with more franchises getting a taste of late May and June basketball. For example, 14 teams have made the conference finals in the past 5 years, with only 2 teams, Boston and Miami, making multiple appearances. This contrasts sharply with the earlier decades of dynastic dominance. At the top, this increase in parity is unmistakable. While Boston's record-breaking 2024 season was an outlier, it doesn't negate the overarching trend. In recent years, even NBA champions failed to win 60 games in the regular season, a feat that was common among title contenders in previous decades. Beyond just championship contenders, the fat middle of teams has become a defining characteristic of this parity-driven era. In 2023 to 2024, 17 of the league's 30 teams won between 40 and 52 games, creating a league where nearly every team had a chance to sneak into the postseason. This competitive balance generates excitement, as fans of mid-tier teams can still dream of playoff success. In the playoffs, however, a different type of parity has emerged. The NBA historically has been one of the most predictable leagues in terms of postseason outcomes. The top-seeded teams usually dominated, with only a few upsets along the way. But the last 6 postseasons have seen lower-seeded teams shake up the status quo. Teams without home court advantage won 14 of 24 second-round playoff series during this period. Additionally, a number 8 seed, Miami in 2023, 2 number 5 seeds, and a pair of number 7 seeds have all made deep playoff runs in recent years. Perhaps the most striking example of this playoff parity occurred last spring, when neither of the Western Conference's top 2 seeds made it past the second round. Dallas and Minnesota, 2 unexpected finalists, upended the Western hierarchy, demonstrating how unpredictable the NBA postseason has become. The bottom feeders, a different story. However, the NBA's new era of parity has its limitations. While the middle of the league is fattening and more teams are contending, there is still a clear bottom tier. Last season, the Detroit Pistons set an NBA record with 28 consecutive losses, finishing with a 14-68 record. The Washington Wizards weren't much better, winning only 15 games. Other teams, including the Portland Trail Blazers, Charlotte Hornets, and San Antonio Spurs, joined them in the 60-loss club. This bottom-heavy group stands in contrast to the competitive balance seen at the top and middle of the standings. This bottom tier of teams helps to create the fat middle in the standings. After all, the NBA is a zero-sum game where wins and losses must balance out to 1,230 games across the league each season. The success of some teams inevitably comes at the expense of others. Nevertheless, the concentration of losing at the bottom is still stark in contrast to the overall parity. Why is this happening? Understanding why this era of parity emerged requires looking at several factors. One significant reason is the failure of super teams. During the 2010s, the NBA saw a trend of franchises trying to stack multiple superstars on their roster. But over the last half-decade, teams like the Brooklyn Nets, who tried to pair Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, and the Los Angeles Clippers, with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, failed to live up to expectations due to injuries, trades, or poor chemistry. Meanwhile, teams built around a single superstar or a well-rounded supporting cast found more success. For instance, Denver's Nikola Jokic, Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Toronto's Kawhi Leonard each led teams with fewer household names to championships. Will it last? The NBA's new collective bargaining agreement, or CBA, will likely have a major impact on how long this parity lasts. The CBA includes provisions like the second apron, a threshold above the luxury tax that imposes severe penalties on teams exceeding it. This makes it difficult for the league's richest owners to simply outspend their competitors. Teams like the Golden State Warriors and LA Clippers, who once could stack rosters with star talent, will now face harsher financial penalties for doing so. That said, the effects of the new CBA might not immediately reflect increased parity. Teams like the Boston Celtics and Oklahoma City Thunder enter the 2024-25 season as heavy favorites, thanks to a combination of smart trades, young talent, and favorable salary structures. Both teams crafted their rosters before the new CBA's full effects kicked in, giving them a potential short-term advantage. However, in the long term, the league's new salary rules will likely force teams to make tougher decisions. Many franchises will have to choose between keeping their star players or fielding a well-rounded team, ultimately leading to shorter windows of contention. Conclusion: the NBA has entered a new era of parity, but the balance of power remains fluid. While the league has seen a wide range of champions in recent years, a few dominant teams like Boston and Oklahoma City could still shape the upcoming season. Long-term, the NBA's new financial rules aim to keep dynasties at bay and maintain competitive balance, giving fans of more franchises hope for success. As we embark on the 2024-25 season, the question remains, will parity continue to define the NBA's future, or will another era of dominance eventually emerge? One thing is certain: the journey is bound to be unpredictable.